Well, 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about Palestine. Then I met some Palestinians and I got to know their stories and I became very close to them. And I know that it's true. What's happening is really bad. It's like the apartheid in South Africa, but much worse. And even if the media doesn't change their mind because of what we're doing, at least some people will change their minds. They'll spread the word to their friends.
But this is an action, and we try to have lots of those in different places. And usually there'll be a smaller group of activists. But we hope that this has a very high impact because lots of people pass by and stop and see why we're protesting, and we raise awareness really. Certainly, we want to actually draw attention to the fact that British public is not being informed by the BBC, who is funded by taxpayers and is supposed to give a realistic picture about what's going on around the world. So people in Britain really don't know what's going on in Palestine. And we believe, and I believe, if they did know, they would definitely pressurize the government. In the BBC, I would imagine, because they're journalists, they're probably better informed than your average.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know why they are not being objective. I can imagine that to some extent it's probably they're following a government line. There are probably some people who are Zionists in the BBC. We certainly hear about the people who are very, very pro-Israeli, who even use Israeli language when they describe things. But for the members of public, I think, in my opinion, and I have been activist for a number of years, I can see that more and more people actually in Britain know about it.
Palestine was a very long time ago. I lost lots of weight. I got lots of sores all over my face, and I was extremely unhappy because I was
shocked.
On. No, I was picked on by the Israelis. They supposed I was English, and they used to say things to me like, "Do you know how to recognise an Arab? A Palestinian, but an Arab." Oh, they have tails, so they're easy to recognise.
This kind of thinking, I mean, the way they think of the Arab.
I think it's racist. There's no other word for it, to be honest with you. And it's appalling. It's almost encouraged by the Israeli media. And with the 23 laws that have been passed in the Knesset, it almost makes their racism makes the racist statements that members of the public make state-backed. So they're almost encouraged to be racist because that way they can secure the future of the Zionist state. But I also know that there are many Israelis who are very supportive of Palestine, and now there's a growing number of people who are for the one-state solution, where you have equal rights for any race living in Palestine, Israel, any religion living in Palestine, Israel, which is how it used to be before the state of Israel came into being with the sanctioning of the UN in 1948. You're absolutely right. It's part and parcel
in one way or
of
another.
The Zionist grand scheme that, you know, they're going to flush out the Palestinians out of Israel, and the onslaught on Gaza that we've seen twice before is an example of how it is very visible. But each and every day, each and every minute of the day, this slow strangulation of Palestinian society is ongoing and persistent, and that's how they are effectively trying to ethnically cleanse Palestine.
Basically, we are complaining that the BBC gives no time at all to the Palestinian prisoners. I mean, they don't give much time at all to Palestine. It's always the Israeli point of view we get. But specifically on Palestine prisoners, there's been absolutely nothing. You know, you can, if it were somebody in Ireland on a hunger strike, or in the UK, it would be, you know, all
hungry to capture.
Yeah, they would, but they're not interested in Palestine prisoners, and that's what.
Why?
Why? You tell me why.
If you want to say.
Yeah, the thing is, it's there's such a strong Israeli support in the upper echelons of the BBC that it seeps down, it drips down to the whole production, all the programs that tend to follow the lead. So there's not much sympathy, even though, I mean, if you speak to the individual journalists, they'll say, oh yeah, we are very keen on giving the Palestine point of view, but it's not worth it because we get inundated with messages about anti-Semitism, we get calls from the Israel embassy complaining. There's such a vast supportive network here for Israel that a lot of these journalists, they think, why risk my career? You know, I can just report on the Israeli point of view, and I don't get. If I've got to stay in prison all my life for years and nobody gives a damn about it, then why? You know, there's no point. So they think, well, better to die this way. At least my death will have some impact, maybe that my life hasn't had. So they try to do it that way, but. The Palestinians don't have any options. They don't have an army.
Yeah, exactly.
What can they do? They are criticized if they protest, if they complain about so-called suicide bombers, but they don't have F-16s, they don't have Apache helicopters, they don't have anything at all. They don't get weapons from Britain and America. So what are they meant to do? They have absolutely no hope, and they just rely on the conscience of the world, and mostly the conscience of the world doesn't.
If they are trying to do this, we have to do our duty. And we have to, as you said, reconvert it, redirect them. I mean, if they are not doing their job properly, we have to try to do it. As my friend here says, we are doing their job. Because press, they are supposed to do the right job, to show the truth and only the truth. And if they are not, then there's someone supposed to do that job. We are trying to do it.